Let's make this autumn season a great one. But how? And what does great look like? You're listening to Done. I'm David Stiernholm, and in this first episode after a long summer break, I share 5 quick questions that helps you make this season how you want it. But first, it seems that more and more organizations are cutting back on remote work in favor of traditional office-centric work. I heard that even Zoom is limiting their employees' remote work to a couple of days per week now. And it's nice to have colleagues around, but every now and then, you still need to work undisturbed for a while. Maybe you close the door if you have one and put up a note. But doesn't it sound harsh to write, "Do not disturb"? Yes, perhaps. But I have some other ideas on what you can write to work in peace. I share them in a post on the Struktör blog. You'll find a link to it in the show notes. Have a look. Going from long-term leave back to work is a transition that always requires some effort, at least for me. The first few hours at work feel unfamiliar. The pants are no longer short and the shirt is now buttoned up to the neck. Something itches. Even though the calendar is anything but empty, I ask myself what the fall will be like. What will I have time to complete? How should I make the best use of my time? What should I focus on above all else? How do I absolutely not want the fall to turn out? I want the fall to be great, but what does that really mean? How do I know if and when it was great? If at this time of year, right now, at the very beginning of the season, I take 15 minutes to answer these questions myself, the fall becomes sharper in its contours. The focus is sharpened, and it becomes clearer what I should prioritize first and what I should do to work even more structured. For me, this short exercise is valuable, so I can highly recommend you to do the same. How to do it? Well, do this. First, find something to take notes on. As you know, I prefer a black pen with a thin tip, a Pilot G-Tech C4 to be precise, and a horizontal white sheet. The bigger, the better. Of course, if you don't like paper, there are plenty of suitable apps. And then ask yourself, how do you best use your time this fall? What do you need to do? What is the most important thing you want to get done before Christmas? List the most important points. Consider how your workload usually is during that part of the year to make the list reasonable. For me, there were 6 items this fall, some big and some small. And what vibe should this autumn have? Describe to yourself what it should be characterized by, even how it should feel if you enjoy it. I want this fall to be fun and inspiring. If it doesn't feel like that by October, I need to change something. And how do you want the fall not to be? Pinpoint what you don't want to experience or be involved in this fall. What should the weeks not look like and the days not be like? Maybe you have been through terrible weeks somewhat recently which you don't want to experience again. And how do you know when fall turned out as you wanted? What has to happen for you to be able to claim victory? What has to be fulfilled for you to say that it turned out the way you wanted? At this point, I formulated 4 very specific goals to check off. And what will you do in a new way this fall, so that you get new results? What will you no longer do that you have done so far? Define a new habit you would benefit from and an existing one you can eliminate to avoid the fall turning out as you fear. Finally, if you wrote something in your answers that means you will do something, add it to your to-do list so that it's not forgotten when the pace of work accelerates. If you have defined any new goals, add them where you follow up on the goals you already have for the year, so that all goals are easily accessible in one place. And we're done. Or, actually, here we go. Because if you make it clear to yourself what you want autumn to be like and what you can do and avoid to achieve it, you're more likely to get what you want. Instead of, it'll be what it'll be, your working days will be more like you want them to be. The clear structure gives you better focus. How do you ensure that your fall turns out the way you want it? Do you do anything special this time of year to make it easier to succeed towards the end of it? Write to me and tell me. You can reach me at david@stiernholm.com, and I'm curious to hear what you share. And that's it for today. I'll see you again next week.